What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Dylan, and we're on ratchet number 4 today for this stream. It's gonna be the last one for this stream, at least. But today we have wrong button. Why you need to watch Formula E in 2026 for beginners guide by SB10? Yes, by SB10. So let's just get straight into it.
Formula E is the
really okay, yeah, because I really want to watch Formula E this season, and you know. Damn, let's start over. So that's, like, the car looks kind of cool. I ain't even gonna cap. So let's see why I need to watch.
Formula E is the best kept secret in motorsports. Seriously, although a lot of motorsport fans may regard FE as a video, it's a crime how few people appreciate how incredible the series really is. In this video, I'll make the point for you giving Formula E a try and teach you everything you need to know for this upcoming season beginning in December. So, Formula E is an all-electric open-wheel racing series that ran its first season in 2014 and is about to begin its 12th. Yeah, we count our seasons in numbers because they technically span 2 years, so this next one will be the 2025-2026 season. After starting primarily on street circuits, the series has come a long way in terms of both car development and manufacturer support. If you want to know a bit more about FE's history, I've recapped up to Season 4 on my channel, so link to the playlist in the card. But let's get the number one argument out of the way.
I'm gonna have to go through some of those. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds kind of cool, bro.
There sounds like a spaceship. You heard it. You didn't die. In all honesty, yes, it's not the same rumbling sensation you can feel in your chest,
not like
a V8 engine or V12, but it's not trying to be that.
But it sounds like a spaceship.
It's an electric series, so the cars are going to sound like electric cars. You have to view it as something separate. And although you may still prefer the sound of an engine exhaust, I know I sure do, I don't think the sound alone should turn you off watching a series, especially for the racing it offers. Formula E's on-track product is incredible. If I were to describe it, it's a bit like Formula 1 mixed with NASCAR. There's a lot of close wheel-to-wheel racing all throughout the field, and many races have gone right down to the wire. It's a spec chassis series, meaning that each team races the same base car, and there's no aero development, but the biggest dividing factor are the powertrains. The powertrain is basically the equivalent of the engine and transmission system of a conventional car. It includes the MGU, or motor generator unit, gearbox, inverter, and the cooling system. There are a few other areas that can be openly developed, but the powertrains are the main.
Wait, so all of the cars are essentially the same? Just with, like, I guess, very minor tweaks and upgrades?
With each manufacturer developing their own, and even having customer teams like engine customers in Formula 1. Formula E's regulations change every 4 years, with an evolution package now scheduled every 2 years. This quick turnaround allows for a ton of car development. The current car, the Gen 3 Evo, is in its final year of competition and sports a max power of 350 kilowatts or around 469 horsepower. It also has all-wheel drive and a 0 to 60 of 2.49 seconds, faster than an F1 car. One thing to note though is that the power in 2 to 4-wheel drive are changed depending on what mode the car is in, which we'll get to now. This brings us to the strategic elements of Formula E. The most important factor in dictating how a driver runs a race is energy conservation. Every car starts the race with a little more than half the amount of usable energy needed to complete the race in their batteries. They're able to finish the race by using regenerative braking, which is the collection of kinetic energy by the MGU under lifting and braking. The more energy you save, the more you can go flat out. The best drivers in Formula E are the ones that can balance on-track aggression with careful and meticulous energy conservation. It's truly one of the most unique skills in all of motorsports, maybe only comparable to fuel saving in NASCAR or IndyCar. And the other cool part is that rival teams don't know each other's energy numbers until they're shown on the TV broadcast, so you get this info exactly as the teams do. Outside of energy conservation, there are two other in-race strategic elements. The first is attack mode. This is a temporary power boost driver.
So they can all see how much energy each other has? It just tells you straight out, like, oh, dude behind you has like no energy left. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know.
Gained by driving through specific zones of the track. Typically, the car will go into max power and 4-wheel drive during qualifying and race starts only, but driving through attack mode will also activate it. Every driver gets 8 minutes of attack mode to use during the race, and they can take this in 2 hits. 4 and 4, 2 and 6, or 6 and 2. It's absolutely vital to plan and use your attack mode to its maximum benefit. Think of this as the advantage you get in other racing series by changing tires. Yeah, you lose some time while making the pit stop, but you're much faster after you come out, until of course the benefit wears off and everyone equalizes out. While this may sound like a gimmick, and it absolutely is, but what racing series doesn't have one, it's genuinely a fun bit of strategy to look out for and adds a ton to the racing. The other element of strategy is pit boost. Now pit boost is only available during the first race of each doubleheader weekend. During these races, when a driver is between about 60 to 40% energy remaining, they can make a pit stop to get a 10% energy charge in just 30 seconds. This element is more as a showcase of technology than something that drastically alters the race, but during these races, each driver is required to make one pit stop and only one attack mode. If this all sounds kinda confusing, don't worry, the TV crew will explain it all when you need to know it, and after about a race, you'll get the hang of it. So now, let's look at the teams and drivers heading into Formula E's 12th season, starting with our defending teams and manufacturers champions in Porsche. After joining FE in 2019, Porsche has become one of the strongest teams in recent years, primarily with Season 10 champion Pascal Wehrlein, who's finished 4th, 1st, and 3rd the last 3 seasons. But this year, he'll have a brand new teammate in Nico Muller. Muller was promoted up from Porsche's customer team Andretti, and will be replacing outgoing Antonio Felix da Costa. In Season 10, Muller was a hidden gem for the backmarker Abt Cupra team, but since being hired as a Porsche driver, his Season 11 campaign was a bit disappointing. Now that he's at the main team, there won't be any excuses. Muller has to perform this year, or Porsche may begin to look elsewhere. Speaking of Antonio Felix da Costa, the ex-Porsche driver joins the Jaguar TCS racing team, alongside longtime driver Mitch Evans. Jaguar has also been an incredibly strong force in recent years, but last year had a bit of a slow start, and tensions forced one of their star drivers, Nick Cassidy, to jump ship. He's ironically been replaced by da Costa, who had similar tensions over at Porsche and comes in as the Season 6 champion. But he'll have a tough pairing in Evans. Tied for second in all-time wins, Evans has been oh so close to a driver's championship so many times and just hasn't been able to pull it off. Last season, despite scoring 2 wins, was his worst since his rookie year in 2016. But with Jaguar coming on incredibly strong to win the last 4 races, their package is definitely a competitive one. And under new leadership of ex-McLaren and Mercedes team principal Ian James, I have confidence that the cat will be back this year. Last season at Nissan, it was all about Oliver Rowland. After
that livery is
quite a long time coming.
Hold on.
Back this year. Last season at
this livery with the cherry blossoms, I kind of fuck with this. I gotta fuck with this.
At Nissan, it was all about Oliver Rowland. After quite a long time coming, the 33-year-old from Barnsley finally secured his very first Formula E World Drivers' Championship, and is a serious threat to go back-to-back. The Nissan powertrain is another one of the strongest, and without a customer team this year after McLaren left the series, they're all eyes forward. Well, all except for Norman Nato. Nato's been the Sergio Perez to our Max Verstappen. In a year where Rowland scored 4 victories, 7 podiums, and took the championship, Nato could only muster 3 points finishes and finished P20 in the standings. It was honestly incredibly surprising he was re-signed, but I guess the one advantage Nissan had last year over the other top teams was that they only had one #1 driver. Speaking of not having a #1 driver, the Maserati MSG Racing team was rebranded in the offseason after some financial troubles to the highly anticipated Citroën Racing team, running Stellantis powertrains. And their lineup is an incredibly strong one, highlighted by Nick Cassidy jumping ship from Jaguar to join the French team. Cassidy's been one of the most impressive drivers to watch in recent years, with 10 victories in just the Gen 3 era. Last season, he started out the year slow, but rebounded with 4 wins and a P2 in the standings. I'd easily consider him a top 5 talent in Formula E, and his move from Jaguar during the offseason was huge. It'll certainly be interesting to see if it pays off.
Shout out bro for getting me locked in though, because I genuinely didn't know any of these people. Like the John Eric, he looked familiar, but
he joins an absolute legend and 2-time drivers champion Jean-Eric Vergne. Though maybe not as dominant as he used to be, Vergne has easily been one of the most consistent drivers over the last few seasons, and it was no wonder he was brought over to Stellantis' primary program from DS Penske. Though the team's logistics may have been a little shaky, their driver lineup speaks for itself. The only problem is, with both drivers having the exact same amount of wins, one having 2 drivers' titles, the other having a P2, P3, and P2 in his last 3 seasons, who will be their #1 driver? Another stacked team in terms of talent is DS Penske. No, this isn't the same Penske run by the captain Roger Penske, it's actually run by his son Jay Penske. And although he doesn't have the pedigree of his father, DS Penske is a very solid operation, primarily carried by the strength of the Stellantis powertrains. That and their driver lineup. Maximilian Gunther has an incredibly high ceiling, but has proved to be incredibly inconsistent as well. Just last season, he scored 2 victories, but finished half the races outside the points and P10 in the standings. Either way, he'll have quite a challenge in his brand new teammate Taylor Barnard. The 21-year-old's rookie season was one of the best in FE history. Racing for McLaren, 5 podiums, 2 poles, and a P4 in the driver's standings was absolutely incredible for the first-year driver.
I love how their
McLaren team
Formula
unfortunately
E
folding during the offseason, Barnard was a top free agent, and it was DS Penske who got the final bid. In all honesty, all 4 Stellantis drivers have the potential to challenge for the title, but the one I'm most interested in this season is definitely Barnard in his sophomore campaign. A team to watch this year has to be Mahindra. Mahindra is a Formula E OG, but after going through a bit of a slump, the Indian outfit seemed to find new life last season, taking 4th in the team's championship. And most of that credit has to go to their rock-solid driver lineup.
I do know Nick
consisting
DeVries.
of Season 7 drivers champion Nick DeVries and that season's runner-up Eduardo Morton.
He won a title? Shout out Nick. Yeah, Nick DeVries is probably going to be the only person I know in Formula E. only because of his short amount of time spent in Formula
Both
1.
drivers found great success in the Gen 2 era, but when the Gen 3 car was introduced in 2023, both lost stock that was definitely won back last season. Though I'd still consider them underdogs, this team is on the cusp of breaking into championship contention. Both Nick and Edo got close to victories last season, and I'd definitely bet on them winning a race this year, and breaking Mahindra's winless streak dating back to 2021. Another team I'd consider to be in Formula E's midfield is Envision. Since the high of winning the team's championship in Season 9, this team has certainly lost a bit of steam. From a team that was battling for drivers' titles with Sam Bird and Nick Cassidy, they finished a distant 8th in the team standings last year. Though still a customer team for Jaguar, they definitely needed a bit of a shakeup, and that comes in Joe Eriksson. Replacing the retiring Robin Freins, Eriksson has been a long-time reserve driver and ran a partial season for backmarkers Dragon Penske back in Season 7. He's honestly a huge unknown, but with Season 2 champion and winningest driver in FE history Sebastian Buemi as a teammate, I don't know if there's a better man to learn from. Andretti seems to be in the same boat as Envision. The Porsche customer team saw their peak after winning the Season 9 Drivers' Championship at the hands of Jake Dennis, but since then, it's been 5th and 7th in the team standings. This is partly due to the fact that besides Dennis, who's still an incredibly talented and honestly underrated...
that this is probably like a low camera angle. It looked like this nigga got bounced. Holy.
Driver, they've had a revolving door of drivers next to him.
What tech certifications and knowledge matter most to get promoted? The best way to get
trying to get taught about Formula E.
Full video in the card. But with his F1 dreams fading away, they've had a revolving door of drivers next to him. Full video in the card. But with his F1 dreams fading away, I have a feeling that their newest hire, Felipe Drugovich, may be here to stay. The 2022 F2 champion comes in with a lot of FE testing experience and impressed last year when he subbed in for Nick DeVries and scored a surprise P7 in Berlin. I don't expect him to beat Dennis, but if his head's in it, he can definitely challenge for points and maybe even the odd podium. Cooper Kiro may be the most interesting team on the grid. They've had more names and owners than maybe any other team, and many moons ago won the very first FE Drivers title with Nelson Piquet Jr. But after declining to backmarker status for many years, losing and gaining manufacturer support, they rebranded Cooper Kiro last season and began a partnership with Porsche. The thing is, they're running an older generation Porsche powertrain, but they certainly got as much out of it as they could. Or well, Dan Ticktum did. The polarizing young Brit has taken Formula E by storm, and although it's clear he's still being held back by his equipment, a podium and an incredible victory last season in Jakarta showed that the sky very well might be the limit for him. Alongside him though, rookie David Beckman was let go in favor of another rookie in Pepe Marti. The Spanish driver will leave his F2 campaign early to begin his career, but with very limited FE experience and a steep learning curve, I keep my expectations realistic for him. A few points finishes would be the bare minimum to consider the year a success in my eyes. And finally, we have Lola Apt Yamaha. The definitive backmarkers last season, this team is still very new and trying to learn as much as they can before the Gen 4 regulations come in next year. And Lucas de Grassi is maybe the best man for the job. The Season 3 champion was Formula E's official test driver.
He gives me Daniel Ricciardo vibes. I don't know what it is.
Before the series even began, and enjoyed much success at the Audi team before a bit of a decline at the Gen 3 era. It's hard to tell if his decline has been due to racing for backmarker teams, but he certainly showed that there's still some fight left in him with a surprise podium at Miami last season. Alongside him is Zane Maloney. In his rookie campaign, he was the only driver to fail to score a point, but in bringing him on for a second year, the team clearly has faith in him, and if he can learn and develop, Lola Apt Yamaha
formed Season 9-ish
can definitely start out Season 13 looking very strong. Now, let's get into the calendar. Season 12 will feature
this is what I need. So the next race is Miami. I've already missed 2 races this season, but they do. Let's see, Miami, Jeddah, London, Berlin, Tokyo. Okay. Yeah, Miami at the end of the month.
10 races held at 11 venues. We'll begin on December 6th racing in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a former IndyCar circuit around the Sambadrome, then travel to Mexico City for race 2, a 2.6 kilometer configuration of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Then it's off to Miami for Formula E's first race at the Hard Rock Stadium, followed by the first doubleheader of the year at a shortened Jeddah circuit under the lights. Remember that during doubleheaders, one of the races will feature pit boost and only one attack mode. After Jeddah, it's off to Madrid for the first time around the Jurama circuit. Next up is a doubleheader in Berlin at the Tempelhof Airport.
So is that like their version of their sprint race?
Followed by a doubleheader in Monaco, which in my opinion is Formula E's best circuit. Definitely mark that weekend on your calendar. This is followed up by 2 race weekends in China, the first of which will take place in Sanya, seeing an old circuit revitalized, then a doubleheader at the shortened Shanghai circuit. The penultimate weekend sees a doubleheader at the Tokyo Street Circuit, a very fun little track, and the finale will take place in London at the Excel Center. one of the most unique circuits in the world, with the cars traveling through the building and a course in the parking lot, right up against the water. A typical race consists of a certain amount of laps, with up to 3 laps added for time under safety car or full course yellow to keep energy conservation a factor. Usually, they amount to being around an hour long. Qualifying takes place earlier in the day and is super unique in its format.
So they're sorted
Essentially, all drivers are sorted into
races.
2 groups, then have a certain amount of time to set a fastest lap. The 4 fastest drivers in each group advance to the dual stages, where it's simply an 8-man knockout tournament. Each pair goes head-to-head in a one-shot duel, with the faster time advancing to the next stage. It's super entertaining to watch, and in my opinion, is the most exciting qualifying format in motorsports. Finally, we come to the points format. FE uses the same 25, 18, 15 format, awarding points to the top 10 finishers as Formula 1 does, but 3 bonus points are also given to the pole winner and 1 for the fastest lap in the top 10. Now, if you're sold and want to give FE a try, there's a link in the description to the page telling you where you can find it in your part of the world, and all former races are available for free on the Formula E website. If you're
Comes on Roku. Hey, TV, you finally get put to use now.
confused or need some help, reach out to the Formula E community. The FE community is honestly amazing, and I give them a lot of credit for this channel. The Reddit page is a great place to start, but there's also a Discord which I've linked below. If you can't find where to watch it in your area, definitely ask someone in that Discord page if you're getting my drift. But I'd also like to give a shout out to some more Formula E content creators who will make it easier to follow along. Over here on YouTube, there's the Formula E Zone, who alongside news content, host their weekly live show, the FE Bar, where you can actually call in and have your way to follow the sport is to just follow the official FE page and the various teams and drivers on social media. Links to absolutely everyone I've just mentioned will be down in the
docuseries.
The absolute easiest way to follow the sport is to just follow the official FE page and the various teams and drivers on social media. Links to absolutely everyone I've just mentioned will be down in the description. And well, now you know everything to watch Formula E. I hope you've stuck around till the very end, and if you did, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're interested to learn more about
In chat, I think I'm gonna give Formula E a try this season. We might watch a couple races on stream. But with that being said, hope you enjoyed this one. It wasn't a lot of commentary from me, I understand. I just really wanted to learn about Formula E because I really want to watch this season. So, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. All my other channels are down in the description below. And I'll see y'all in the next one.